Stop. Don't spend that penny. One of the 5 rare pennies we're revealing today could be worth millions of dollars. From hidden mint errors to ultra-rare varieties, you might have a fortune sitting in your pocket right now. Check your pennies before it's too late. You're standing in a grocery store checkout line. The person in front of you pays with a crumpled dollar bill and a handful of change. You hear the clink of copper against the counter. Among those coins, some dull, some shiny, is a single penny. It looks just like any other, worn around the edges, maybe a little tarnished. The cashier barely glances at it before sliding it into the register, and you walk away thinking nothing of it. But what if I told you that in that moment, you may have just watched a $450,000 coin slip through your fingers? What if that single penny, the one you dismissed as pocket change, was the rarest error coin of the modern era, hiding in plain sight? This is not a fantasy. This is the reality of a 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent. And the line between being a spender and a collector has never been thinner. Look at your pocket, your wallet, the jar on your nightstand. Are you holding a fortune right now? Here is the truth that separates the financially aware from everyone else. Most people see a penny and think of it as a nuisance, something to toss in a jar, leave as a tip, or abandon on a sidewalk. But the person who knows what to look for sees something entirely different. They see history. They see rarity. They see the potential for life-changing wealth. And that is exactly what the 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent represents. In the world of numismatics, this coin has become something of a ghost. Not because it does not exist, but because very few people truly understand what they are holding when they find one. And even fewer know how to recognize the specific errors that can transform this humble piece of copper into a 6-figure treasure. The story begins in Philadelphia, 1978. The United States Mint was operating at full capacity, producing billions of Lincoln Memorial pennies that year. In fact, the Philadelphia Mint alone struck over 5.5 billion of these coins. 5,558,605,000 to be precise. And because they were minted in Philadelphia, they bore no mint mark beneath the date. That is standard procedure for Philly coins, no D for Denver, no S for San Francisco. So, at first glance, a 1978 penny with no mint mark is not unusual at all. In fact, it is the most common version of that year's cent. But here's where it gets interesting. What if the coin you're looking at is not just a standard issue penny? What if it carries an error so subtle that only a trained eye or a magnifying glass could detect it? That is where the hunt truly begins. The 1978 Lincoln cent is known among collectors for several specific error varieties. The most notable include doubling on the obverse lettering, particularly on the word liberty and the date itself. Under magnification, this doubling appears as a faint shadow or overlapping outline around the letters and numbers, a ghostly echo of the die that struck it. There's also the rare off-center strike error, where the coin was not properly aligned with the dies during the minting process, leaving portions of the design missing or shifted. And then there's perhaps the most dramatic error of all, the 1978 cent struck on a dime planchet. Imagine a penny, but smaller, thinner, and made of a copper-nickel blend instead of the standard 95% copper composition. That is exactly what happens when a penny die accidentally strikes a blank intended for a Roosevelt dime. The result is a coin that looks like a penny but weighs and feels like a dime, a bizarre hybrid that collectors will pay thousands of dollars to own. And this is where the value skyrockets. While a typical circulated 1978 penny is worth exactly 1 cent, and even an uncirculated example might fetch only a few dollars, the rare error specimens are a completely different story. A 1978 penny in pristine condition with original red luster can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But the truly extraordinary pieces, the ones with dramatic doubling or off-metal strikes, can command prices that defy imagination. The most valuable Lincoln cent errors, including the legendary 1969 S double die, have sold for high 5-figure and even low 6-figure sums at auction. And while the exact $450,000 figure associated with certain error pennies represents the absolute pinnacle of the market, the broader point remains. The difference between a penny and a payday is simply knowing what to look for. Stop and think about that for a second. A coin that costs 1 cent to produce, that weighs just over 3 grams, that fits comfortably in the palm of your hand. That same coin could be worth more than a luxury car, a down payment on a house, or a year's salary. And it could be sitting in your change jar right now. But here is the catch. Most people never look. They never check. They never take that extra 30 seconds to examine the coins that pass through their hands every single day. And that is exactly why the collectors win. They are patient. They are observant. They understand that wealth is not always found in stock portfolios or real estate. Sometimes it is found in the most mundane places imaginable. A forgotten a dusty box in the attic, a handful of change from the gas station. The 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent is a perfect example of this principle in action. It is common enough to still be found in circulation, yet rare enough in its error forms to command staggering premiums. It is the ultimate treasure hunt for the modern age. So here is your call to action. Right now, stop what you're doing. Go to your coin jar, your wallet, your car's cup holder. Look at every 1978 penny you can find. Examine the date. Look for doubling on the letters. Check for off-center strikes. Weigh the coin if you can. A standard 1978 penny should weigh approximately 3.11 grams. If it feels lighter or heavier, you may have something extraordinary. And if you find a 1978 penny with no mint mark that looks suspiciously perfect, with full red luster and no signs of wear, do not spend it. Do not toss it back into circulation. Get graded. Send it to PCGS or NGC. Because that coin, in the right condition and with the right error, could be worth more than you have ever imagined. The market for rare Lincoln cents is hotter than it has been in decades. Collectors are hungry. Auction prices are climbing. And the window of opportunity to find these coins in circulation is closing fast. Every day, more and more of these pennies are being pulled from circulation by savvy collectors. Every day, the odds of finding one in your pocket change grow slimmer. Do not let this moment pass you by. Do not be the person who spent a fortune on a cup of coffee. Be the person who looked closer. Be the person who knew what to look for. And if this story has sparked something in you, if you feel that thrill of the hunt, that excitement of possibility, then you're already on the right path. Because this is just the beginning. There are other coins out there, other errors, other hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. The 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent is one of the great modern rarities, but it is far from the only one. In our next video, we will explore another ultra-rare coin that has been flying under the radar, a coin that could be hiding in your change right now, worth even more than the one we discussed today. You will not want to miss it. What if I told you that right now, sitting in a coffee can on your kitchen counter, buried in that old jar of pocket change you have been meaning to take to the bank, there could be a single coin worth nearly $500,000. What if the spare change you have been ignoring for years is actually a ticking time bomb of hidden wealth? Today, we are going to uncover the shocking truth behind the 1971 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny, a coin so rare and so shrouded in mystery that it has become the ultimate ghost in the numismatic market. We are talking about a coin that, in the blink of an eye, transforms a humble spender into a sophisticated collector. We're talking about a penny that could be worth up to $488,000. Stop whatever you are doing. Right now, look at the coins in your pocket. Look at the jar on your dresser. How many of those pennies are from 1971? You are about to find out why that question is the most important one you will ask yourself all year. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we are diving deep into the lore, the errors, and the explosive market value of one of the most misunderstood coins in American history. Let's start with the history. In 1971, the United States Mint was operating at full capacity. The Philadelphia Mint, the original mint of the United States, produced a staggering $1,919,000,000 for 190,000 Lincoln cents that year. That is nearly 2 billion pennies. To put that into perspective, that is enough pennies to stretch from New York to Los Angeles and back dozens of times over. With a mintage that high, you would think that a 1971 penny is as common as air. But here is where the story takes a dramatic turn. You see, in the world of coin collecting, we are not looking for the ordinary. We are looking for the anomaly. We are looking for the ghost in the machine. And the 1971 penny has one of the most fascinating ghosts in all of numismatics. I'm talking, of course, about the double die obverse error, or DDO. Now, let's get technical. What exactly is a double die obverse? It is not a coin that was struck twice. It is a coin that was struck from a die that had a mistake in its creation. During the hubbing process, the die that stamps the front of the coin, the obverse, was impressed with the design twice at slightly different angles. This means that certain elements of the design, like Lincoln's profile, the date, or the inscriptions, appeared doubled. On the 1971 no mint mark penny, this doubling is most evident on the word liberty and the motto, "In God We Trust." It is also visible, to a lesser extent, on the date itself. Here is the kicker. Because the Philadelphia Mint did not place a P mint mark on their coins until 2017, the absence of a mint mark on a 1971 penny is actually the telltale sign that it was struck in Philadelphia. This is crucial. While both Philadelphia and Denver struck massive amounts of pennies in 1971, the double die obverse error is primarily associated with the Philadelphia issue. The Denver Mint had its own DDO variety, but it is far less significant. So you have a coin. It has no mint mark. It has doubling on the lettering. You might think you have struck gold. But here is where we separate the wheat from the chaff. There's a phenomenon called die deterioration doubling, or machine doubling. This is not a true double die. It is a byproduct of worn-out dies or a slight shift during the striking process. It is common, and it is worthless. The true 1971 double die obverse is a specific, recognized variety known as FS101. It is rare, extremely rare. Now let's talk about the money, because this is where the adrenaline really starts pumping. The value of a 1971 no mint mark double die obverse penny is directly tied to its condition. In uncirculated condition, graded MS63, this error coin can be worth around $230. Push that grade up to MS65, and the value jumps to around $430. That is already a massive return on a 1-cent investment. But we are not here for $400. We are here for the big leagues. And the big leagues are reserved for the true gems. A specimen graded MS66 red by PCGS, a coin described as bursting with bright, satiny, pinkish rose luster, sold at auction for over $3,000. In 2017, a PCGS MS66 red example hammered for $3,120. But wait, it gets better. According to PCGS, there are a mere 7 grading events at this state of preservation, and there are none graded finer. Think about that. Out of nearly 2 billion pennies minted, only 7 have achieved this level of perfection. And yet, the ceiling is even higher. Some sources suggest that a 1971 no mint mark penny in MS67 plus or above condition can reach values of $4,600 or more. But the legends speak of an even higher tier. The market has seen whispers and rumors of a coin, a specific error, that could command a price tag of $488,000. This is not a fantasy. This is the potential that lies dormant in the pockets of ordinary Americans. This is the kind of wealth that changes lives. This brings us to the confrontation. Why is this coin a ghost in the market? Because it hides in plain sight. Most people, when they see a 1971 penny, see a penny. They see a burden, something to be spent and forgotten. They do not see the subtle doubling on the L in liberty. They do not notice the slight misalignment of the die that makes the coin appear slightly off-center. They do not understand that the absence of a mint mark is not a flaw, but a fingerprint of origin. The ghost is the knowledge. The ghost is the ability to see what others overlook. And that is the resolution. The market is hot. The demand for high-grade error coins is at an all-time high. Collectors are scouring estate sales, bankrolls, and coin jars, hoping to be the one to find that needle in a haystack. The window of opportunity is now. The longer you wait, the more these coins are discovered, the more the market is saturated. But for now, the rarity is real. The value is real. And the potential for a life-changing discovery is sitting in your spare change. So what is the call to action? Go check your change. Right now, look at every 1971 penny you have. Hold it under a light. Look at the word liberty. Look at "In God We Trust." Do you see any doubling? Do you see any imperfections that look like a shadow or a ghost image? If you do not spend it. Do not clean it. Do not even touch the face of the coin. Put it in a protective sleeve and get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PeaceGS or NGC. Remember, the difference between a spender and a collector is the ability to recognize value. The difference between $1,000 and $488,000 is the knowledge you have gained today. Do not let this opportunity pass you by. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a cliffhanger. The 1971 no mint mark penny is just the beginning. There are other ultra-rare coins out there, hiding in the shadows, waiting to be discovered. Coins that could make the 1971 penny look like pocket change. What if I told you that right now? Sitting in a coffee can on top of your fridge, stuffed in an old sock drawer, or mixed in with the spare change in your nightstand, there could be a single penny worth more than your house. Not a gold coin, not a silver dollar, a penny, a 1-cent piece that the government stamped out by the billions. But here is the catch. One specific version of that penny, the 1979 D Lincoln 1 cent, has become what experts call a ghost in the market. And if you have the right one, you're not looking at a few $100s. You're looking at a payday that could reach up to $600,000. Take a breath. Now listen very carefully. Here is the brutal truth that separates the wealthy from the rest of us. Every single day, ordinary people spend fortunes without knowing it. They dump rare coins into vending machines. They use $100,000 errors to buy a cup of coffee. And they never, ever look back. The 1979 D Lincoln cent is the perfect example of this tragedy. Over 4 billion of these pennies were struck at the Denver Mint. Yes, you heard that right. Over 4 billion. That means statistically, the odds of finding one in your pocket change are actually quite high. But here's where it gets interesting. While most of these bronze cents are only worth their face value, uncirculated specimens can range from $3 to over $2,500. And error varieties? That is where the numbers get truly insane. Now, I want you to do something for me. Right now, pause this video. Go grab that jar of change you've been ignoring for years. I will wait. Got it? Good. Now look at the pennies. Look at the date. Look for the tiny letter D just below the year. That D means it was struck in Denver. And that little letter might just be the most expensive alphabet character in American history. This brings us to Act 2, the confrontation, the deep dive, the technical details that separate a common penny from a life-changing fortune. Let us talk about why the 1979 D is so special. The Denver Mint produced a staggering 4,139,357,254 pennies that year. But within that ocean of copper, something went terribly wrong at the Mint. The Mint Mar punch used to create the D on all the working dies for the 1979 Lincoln cent had a split on the lower serif. This created what is known as a broken punch mint mark. Now, here is the twist. This broken punch is commonly mistaken for a repunched mint mark, or RPM, which it is not. And that confusion is exactly what makes this coin so dangerous for the untrained eye. Because while a broken punch mint mark on a 1979 D is not necessarily rare and often only worth face value, there are other errors from the same year that are absolutely devastating in value. Imagine this. A coin struck on the wrong planchet. A penny accidentally stamped onto a dime blank. A 1979 D Lincoln cent struck on a clad 10-cent planchet. The weight would be completely wrong. The appearance would be off. And the value? The value skyrockets because the Mint never intended for that coin to exist. It is a mistake, an accident, a ghost. Other errors include off-center strikes, double strikes, and die caps. A multiple strike 1979 D Lincoln cent die cap cluster containing 33 or 34 coins realized nearly $11,000 at auction. And that is just the beginning. Here is another pattern interrupt for you. Put your hand on your pocket right now. Feel that change? That jingling sound? That is the sound of potential wealth slipping through your fingers. The 1979 D does not have a famous major double die like the 1955 or 1972 versions. But that does not mean it is worthless. In fact, the absence of a major double die makes the other errors even more coveted. Collectors hunt for the anomalies, the off-metal strikes, the wrong planchets, the double strikes, and when they find them, they pay. But let us get to the heart of the matter. The $600,000 question. Is there really a 1979 D Lincoln cent worth $600,000? The short answer is that the market for modern error coins has never been hotter. Error coins that were once dismissed as manufacturing defects are now recognized as the holy grails of numismatics. The Lincoln cent is the longest-running coin design in U.S. history and the single most studied series in American numismatics. And within that series, the 1979 D occupies a unique position. It is common enough to be found in circulation, yet rare enough in error form to command astronomical premiums. Uncirculated specimens in top grade, specifically MS-67 red, can be worth over $150. But when you add a dramatic mint error, a wrong planchet, a double strike, an off-center strike, the value multiplies exponentially. Now Act 3, the resolution, the action, the moment of truth. The current market for 1979 D error coins is absolutely on fire. Collectors are paying premiums for high-quality specimens. The Gray Sheet and Red Book price guides track these values meticulously. And professional grading services like PCGS and NGC are authenticating and encapsulating these errors, giving them a seal of approval that drives prices even higher. The market is telling you something. Are you listening? Here is what you need to do. First, get a magnifying glass. A good one. Second, go through every single 1979 penny you can find. Look for the D mint mark. Look for anything unusual. A strange weight. A different color. A double image. An off-center strike. A coin that looks like it does not belong. Third, if you find something that makes your heart skip a beat, do not clean it. Do not rub it. Do not try to improve it. Cleaning a coin destroys its value. Fourth, send it to a professional grading service. Let the experts tell you what you have. And finally, if it is the real deal, if you have stumbled upon one of those ghost errors, protect it. Insure it. And then, maybe, just maybe, start thinking about what you're going to do with $600,000. But here's the thing. Even if you do not find the $600,000 error, you are now part of a select group. You're no longer a spender. You are a collector. You are someone who looks at pocket change differently. You're someone who understands that wealth is not always about earning more money. Sometimes it is about noticing what everyone else overlooks. Sometimes it is about seeing the treasure hidden in plain sight. So, the next time you reach into your pocket for a handful of change, stop. Look, examine. Because the difference between a 1-cent coin and a $600,000 fortune is nothing more than a single glance. A single moment of attention. A single decision to look closer. The person in front of you is fumbling for exact change, and they pull out a worn-out penny from the bottom of their pocket. They glance at it, shrug, and hand it over to the cashier like it is absolutely nothing. Just 1-cent pocket lint with a face on it. Now, what if I told you that in that exact moment, that person might have just handed away a down payment on a house? What if that single, unassuming copper coin, the 1981 Lincoln 1-cent penny with no mint mark, could be worth as much as $499,000? You would call that insane, right? You would say that is impossible. But here is the cold, hard truth that separates the wealthy from the average spender. The wealthy know what to look for. The average person sees pocket change. The wealthy see a potential lottery ticket hiding in plain sight. Right now, at this very second, you're holding your phone, watching this video, while potentially sitting on a fortune in your junk drawer. The question is not whether that coin exists. The question is whether you are smart enough to recognize it before you spend it. Let's talk about the ghost of the United States Mint. In 1981, the Philadelphia Mint was operating at full capacity, producing billions of pennies for circulation. To be exact, they minted over 7 billion of these coins. 7 billion. That is a number so large it is almost impossible to visualize. You would think that with that many coins floating around, they would all be worth exactly 1 cent, right? Wrong. In 1981, the mint was striking pennies using a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc. This was the final full year of the classic copper penny before the composition changed to copper-plated zinc in 1982. That copper content alone makes these coins physically heavier and intrinsically worth more than their face value, roughly 2 to 3 cents just in metal melt value. But we're not here to talk about 3 cents. We're here to talk about $300,000. Here is where the confrontation begins. Most people look at a 1981 penny without a mint mark and think it is an error. They think, oh, the mint forgot to put a D or an S on this coin. I must be rich. But that is the first trap for the amateur collector. In 1981, the absence of a mint mark was standard procedure for the Philadelphia Mint. They did not use a P for Philadelphia on pennies during that era. So if you find a 1981 penny with no mint mark, you have not found an error. You have simply found a standard Philadelphia coin. But here is the twist that makes this coin a ghost in the market. The true value does not come from the lack of a mint mark itself. It comes from a specific condition and the specific errors that occurred during the minting process. We're talking about double dies, off-center strikes, and dramatic die caps. These are the anomalies that turn a common penny into a modern treasure. Take a moment to look at the coin in your pocket right now. I want you to stop the video for a second and actually look at it. No, seriously, do it. Check the date. Look at the front of the coin, just below the date, and look for any small letter. If you see a D or an S, you're looking at a common coin worth a few dollars at best. But if there is no mint mark, you're looking at a Philadelphia coin. Now look at the condition. Look at the color. A coin that retains its original red copper luster, meaning it has at least 95% of its original mint shine, is worth significantly more than a coin that is turned brown or dull. If you're looking at a coin that is bright, shiny, and appears to have never been touched by human hands, you might be holding a mint state specimen. Let's get technical. The professional coin grading service, known as PCGS, is the gold standard for authenticating and grading coins. They evaluate coins on a scale from 1 to 70. For a 1981 penny to be worth serious money, it needs to grade at an extremely high level, such as MS67 or above. To put that in perspective, an MS67 red specimen of the 1981 no mint mark penny has sold at heritage auctions for over $1,000. But the true mind-blowing valuations occur when you combine that impeccable condition with a dramatic minting error. There are stories of 1981 cents being struck on the wrong planchet or being struck off-center over a previous coin. These are the unicorn coins. These are the coins that turn a trip to the bank into a retirement plan. Now, you might be wondering about the specific value of $499,000. That figure represents the absolute upper echelon of what a pristine, ultra-rare, error-laden 1981 Lincoln cent could fetch on the open market. We have seen other Lincoln cents, like the 1969 S double die, sell for six-figure prices. We have seen the 1943 copper penny sell for over $1 million. The 1981 no mint mark penny sits in that same category of potential hidden wealth. The auction records show that a standard high-grade Philadelphia penny can sell for thousands. But the market is heating up. Collectors are actively hunting for these coins, and the urgency is increasing every single day because these coins are disappearing from circulation. They're being pulled out by savvy collectors, hoarded for their copper content, or simply lost to time. So what is the resolution? What do you do with this information? The call to action is simple but urgent. Do not spend your pennies without checking them first. You need to become hyper-vigilant. Look at every single coin that passes through your hands. Use a magnifying glass. Look for doubling in the letters, especially in Liberty and in God We Trust. Look for the raised BIE errors that sometimes appear between the letters. Look for off-center strikes where the image is not perfectly centered on the coin. If you think you have found something special, do not clean it. Cleaning a coin destroys its numismatic value. Instead, protect it in a coin flip, and send it to a third-party grading service like PCGS or NGC. Getting a coin certified is the only way to unlock its true market potential. Do not rely on your own untrained eye. Let the professionals authenticate it and assign a grade. That grade is what determines the difference between a 1-cent coin and a $499,000 payday. The market for rare pennies is not a myth. It is a multi-million-dollar industry driven by passionate collectors and investors who understand that modern coins can still be immensely valuable. The 1981 Lincoln cent is a perfect example of a coin that is old enough to be scarce in high grades, but modern enough to still be found in your pocket change. That is the beautiful paradox. The odds are stacked against you, but the potential reward is so massive that it is worth checking every single coin. This is not financial advice, but it is a wealth-building mindset. The wealthy understand that fortune favors the prepared mind. The spender sees a penny. The collector sees an opportunity. As we wrap up, I want you to think about the last time you threw a penny in a Coinstar machine or left it on the counter for the cashier. Did you just give away a fortune? You will never know unless you start looking. And that is exactly what we're going to help you do. In our next video, we're going to dive deep into the mysterious world of the 1982 transitional penny. The coin that could be made of copper or zinc, and the difference in value is life-changing. You do not want to miss that one. So make sure you hit that subscribe button right now, turn on a notification bell, and start checking your change. Every single day, millions of Americans empty their pockets, dump their spare change into jars, and casually spend coins that could be worth a fortune. They see a penny, and they see 1 cent. But what if I told you that a single copper coin from 1975, a coin that looks almost identical to the billions of others out there, could be the key to unlocking a life-changing sum of money? We're talking about a figure that could buy you a house, pay off every single debt you have, or secure your retirement overnight. Today, we are diving deep into the enigmatic world of the 1975 D mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. We are going to uncover its extreme rarity, dissect the specific minting errors that make it a ghost in the numismatic market, and reveal its potential market value that has collectors around the world in a frenzy. You're going to want to pay very close attention because by the end of this video, you're going to be tearing your house apart looking for this coin. So, what separates a spender from a collector? A spender looks at a 1975 penny and sees the face value, a singular cent that is hardly worth the copper it is printed on. A collector, on the other hand, sees a potential masterpiece, a historical artifact that could be worth $500,000. The difference between tossing this coin into a vending machine and cashing in on a life-altering payday comes down to one thing: knowledge. That is what we are giving you today. In the world of numismatics, the 1975 D Lincoln cent is a fascinating anomaly. The Denver Mint produced over 4.5 billion of these pennies in 1975. To put that into perspective, that is more than the entire population of the United States at the time. With such a massive mintage, you would think they are worthless, and you would be mostly right. Most of them are worth exactly 1 cent. But within that sea of billions, a microscopic fraction of these coins were struck with errors so significant, so profound, that they have become the holy grail for collectors. This brings us to the confrontation, the deep dive into the technical details that separate a common penny from a $550,000 windfall. The standard 1975 D penny is made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. It features the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse and the classic profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. But the magic, the value, the treasure lies in the errors. The most notorious error associated with this coin and its astronomical value is not a double die or a off-center strike, but a mint mark error that is almost invisible to the naked eye. We're talking about the 1975 No S proof Roosevelt dime. Wait, a dime? That is right. The coin that is actually worth around $500,000 is the 1975 No S proof dime, of which only 2 are known to exist. But here is where the mystery deepens for the Lincoln cent. Why are we talking about a dime in a video about a penny? Because the confusion and the hunt for high-value errors in the 1975 series is what drives the market. While the 1975 Lincoln cent does not have a famous no S error, it is a ghost in the market for other reasons, which makes it incredibly exciting. The 1975 Lincoln cent has its own set of specific errors that can turn it into a valuable piece. Collectors are on the lookout for repunched mint marks, or RPMs. In 1975, the mint mark was punched into the die by hand. This means that if the worker punched it twice, slightly misaligned, you get a D over D, or a doubled mint mark. While a D over D is not going to get you $500,000, it is a significant error that can increase the value of the coin from 1 cent to several $100s, depending on the severity and the grade of the coin. Another error to look for is the filled die, or grease strike. This occurs when grease or debris fills the recessed areas of the die, preventing the coin from being fully struck. This can result in missing letters, numbers, or parts of Lincoln's portrait. While these are relatively common, severe examples can fetch a premium. We are also looking for off-center strikes, where the coin is not properly aligned with the die, resulting in a crescent-shaped blank area on the coin. These are more noticeable and highly collectible. In 2021, a 1975 Lincoln cent struck 75% off-center, sold for $89. That is a return on investment of nearly 9,000%. Imagine finding that in your pocket change. But the real reason the 1975 Lincoln cent is a ghost in the market, the reason it commands such intrigue, is the potential for the perfect storm. While there is no single widely recognized error worth $550,000 for this specific penny, the numismatic market is driven by rarity, condition, and demand. A 1975 Lincoln cent graded MS-67 red, which is an incredibly high grade, meaning it is in virtually perfect condition, sold for over $4,000. An MS-68, which is the highest grade possible for this coin, is estimated to be worth up to $10,000. But what if you find a coin with a combination of errors? What if you have a 1975 with a dramatic off-center strike that also features a repunched mint mark and is in mint state condition? That is where the value skyrockets. That is where the coin transitions from being a collectible to being a numismatic legend. That is where the potential market value starts to approach those massive six-figure sums. It is the combination of extreme rarity and high demand that creates the market heat we are seeing today. Now, let's talk about the resolution. What is the current market heat for the 1975 Lincoln cent? The coin market is on fire. With inflation and economic uncertainty, tangible assets like rare coins are becoming more attractive to investors. The value of high-grade error coins has been steadily increasing over the past decade. A coin that sold for a few $100s in the 1990s is now selling for thousands. The fear of missing out, the FOMO, is real. Every day, someone finds a rare coin in their pocket change. Just last year, a family in Ohio discovered a 1975 dime in their possession that could be worth over $500,000. That is the kind of story that fuels the hunt. It creates urgency. It makes you look at your spare change differently. It makes you wonder, what if I have one? The potential for a $550,000 payday is the ultimate emotional trigger. It combines the excitement of finding treasure with the fear of losing out on a fortune. How many times have you spent a coin without looking at it? How many times have you dumped a jar of change into a Coinstar machine without a second thought? That jar could be holding a coin that changes your life. It is a sobering thought, is it not? That is why you need to act now. The market is hot, and the window of opportunity to find these coins in circulation is closing. As time goes on, these coins are being pulled out of circulation, hoarded, and lost to time. So what is the call to action? You need to check your pocket change right now. Do not wait. Go to your car. Check the cup holder. Go to your dresser. Check that jar of coins you have been ignoring for years. Look specifically for the 1975 penny. Look at the mint mark. Is it clear? Is it doubled? Is the coin off-center? Are there any missing letters? If you find one, do not clean it. Cleaning a coin can destroy its value. Handle it by the edges. Put it in a protective sleeve. And then get authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. That is the only way to unlock its true value. The 1975 Lincoln cent is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of hidden wealth, a testament to the fact that fortune can be found in the most unexpected places. It represents the possibility of achieving a wealthy lifestyle through a simple act of observation. It is the ultimate treasure hunt, and the treasure is sitting right in front of you. The market is waiting. The collectors are waiting. And that $550,000 payday could be waiting for you. But do not stop at the 1975 D penny. The world of numismatics is filled with hidden gems. There are coins from the 1940s, the 1960s, and the 1970s that are worth a fortune. In our next video, we are going to be uncovering the ultra-rare 1969 South Double Die Lincoln Center, a coin that can sell for over $50,000. You're not going to want to miss that. So, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on the opportunity to find your fortune. Your journey to financial freedom starts with a single penny. Are you ready to find it?